Well, good morning, and I'd like to welcome you to a virtual field trip to an Ohio pig farm. I'm Jennifer Osterholt, and I'm on staff here with the Ohio Pork Council. And today we want to talk about where food comes from and show you some pigs out in the country in Ohio and show more about how they live and get to talk right to the farmer. But first, we need to thank some of our sponsors. And those sponsors are the Ohio Soybean Council, Farm Credit Mid-America, Cargill, and the Ohio Pork Council, of course. So on the line, we have Dan Toland, who's offering technical support. We are very grateful for him. And we have a lot of classrooms throughout the state. So we're going to wait until question time and we'll just run down through everybody. But thanks again for joining. Let's get our hands together for our special guest. Ready? Without further ado, let's get right to our farmer, Rebecca Serber.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There are a lot of young ones visiting us today.
Yes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Rebecca? What's it like to be a farmer and what do you do?
So being a farmer, it has enabled me to be able to make my own schedule a little bit, to be able to be more involved with my family and my daughter. When I first started my adventure as a pig farmer, I was actually a banker. So moving from one adventure to the next, this one gave me a lot more freedom to be with family and to grow a great commodity for all of the people.
So what do you do? What are your responsibilities day to day as a farmer?
So all of our buildings are biosecure, which means that every day I shower in and shower out of our facilities. So I don't bring anything into the barns that would harm the pigs. And on a daily basis, I walk the pens with the pigs to make sure that they are all happy, healthy, they all have food and water, and that everyone is growing like they should.
So when you say not bringing anything into the barn, we can carry germs on our hands and our shoes, right? Because think of all the places we walk. So
That's correct.
You take those off, take a shower, and you put new shoes on,
Yes.
new boots on in the barn. And we saw that your hair's in a bandana.
Yes, it is.
So you even wash your hair?
I do. We come into the facility and take all of our daily wear clothes, shoes off, head to toe, and we shower into the facility, head to toe, and we change into clothes that are always kept in the facility. And we have washing machines and dryers here at the facility to keep everything inside the barns clean on a daily basis also.
So who knew that you had showers and washers and dryers inside of a pig barn?
Well, I did not until I started doing this.
But like you said, your goal is to keep those pigs as healthy as possible. And if you keep them healthy, you don't have to treat them with antibiotics, right? So that's the goal, just keep them healthy and growing on their own.
That's correct. And that's why we've brought the pigs inside as opposed to raising them outside, where we can control their environment and make sure that there are no predators that are after them, and that the extreme heat in the summertime does not hurt them. And these cold mornings and the snow that I'm sure is about to come, with them being inside the barns, we're able to keep their temperature at an even temperature all throughout their lifespan. So when they come and visit us from their mamas, they start out in the barns at 77 to 75 degrees. So they're nice and toasty. And as they grow, we will change the temperatures from approximately 77 degrees down to about 62 to 65, depending on what season we're in. So they are always comfortable, even though it might be cold or hot outside.
So I see some pigs near a silver cup looking thing. What are they doing?
So I believe you are talking about them drinking. So just like in all of the schools, they have their own drinking fountains in all the pens. They have access to all the water that they want at any time during the day or the night. So here's their watering cups. And there is a little lever right here that they just come up and push their nose to, and they can have water whenever they would like. Let's see. Ouch, I just got bit.
Wow, they're being very friendly to you.
Yes, they, yeah, I've got them climbing on me. They're quite funny. I am just a toy in the pen here.
Do you want to show us the feeder before you get out or get bitten too hard?
I definitely can. So there's a little guy that's going to stay put because he's too hungry. So the pigs also have access to food all day, every day, where they can come and eat when they're hungry. And that is all automated. So there's their feeder. They're full of feed. And that feed comes from a tube. And the tube runs the length of the barn. And outside, there are feed bins where all the feed is kept. So that comes into the barn and into their feeders. And then they can eat whenever they feel like they need a little snack.
What's the pig food made of?
So in the pig food, we have some corn and some soybeans and some vitamins and minerals that will help the pigs to grow.
Neat. If you want to step out into the aisle, Rebecca, we'll ask the kids some questions.
That sounds great.
All right, everybody get your hands ready. These, I need you to guess, so on your fingers, how many weeks old do you think these pigs are? So let's take a look at the pigs again, Rebecca, so we can make a really good guess. There we go. How many weeks old would we guess these pigs are? I see some 10s. Are there any? How many? I see a 1 week old. I don't see many options other than 10.
Look this way. Show this. The camera's over here. Stay on your bottoms. Show her how many weeks you think the pigs are.
Let's see.
So we're not leaving.
Oh, wait, I see a 4. Good, a 5 maybe. We have a lot of good, oh, more guesses. Are there any 8s or 9s anywhere? How many weeks old are they, Rebecca?
The pigs here are just about 8.5 to 9 weeks old.
Wow. So how much do they weigh, would you guess, at 8.5 to 9 weeks old?
Are you asking me or the kids?
Sorry. How about you, Rebecca? How many pounds?
These guys range anywhere. I have some little guys over here that are probably about 25 pounds, and they range to about 50 pounds on the other side.
Wow. So who guessed 8 or 9? Raise your hand if you got the answer right.
That is a great
Good job. Good job. So, Rebecca, if those pigs already weigh that much at 8 or 9 weeks old, how much will they weigh when they reach market weight, and how old will they be?
So the pigs will grow fairly quickly. And when we send them out, they will be between 240 and 280 pounds to either go on to be mamas or to go to the market.
All right. Your pigs look really clean. Can you tell us about that? Did you wash them?
We do not wash our pigs. Pigs are actually fairly clean animals when given the chance, when raised indoors. You can see that they're standing on floors that have holes in them. So we call those slatted floors. And under the slatted floor is a pit. And the pit is where the manure goes from the animals. So they usually choose to go to the restroom in the back of their pens and sleep and eat in the front of their pens. So that naturally keeps them a little bit clean. And they go through a teenage stage where they do kind of look a little bit dirty. I think they enjoy going back and wallowing and romping and playing with each other. So they do get a little bit dirty, but for the most part, they stay pretty white.
Wow. Do you have anything else you want to share before we get to questions?
We have the barn set to the temperatures like I had told you earlier, and I'm looking up here at the moment and I saw the heater. So this is what a heater in the barn looks like, and it will kick on and kick off when the temperature rises or lowers in the barn. So those are set automatically and ran by computer. And then you can tell that the barn walls are kind of made from a plastic, and those are curtains that are also automated, that when it gets cold or hot outside, the curtains come up to close, which they're right now because it's kind of a little cold outside. And in the summertime, those will actually come down and ventilate the barn and bring air across the pigs. And on this wall, we have fans. So the fans will kick on and that will draw air across the pigs to keep them cool in the summertime.
Neat. Well, I've got some questions from Spencerville Elementary, so we'll start with them, and then we will go to the two schools in Cleveland, and then we'll work our way right through the classroom. So teachers, if you want to sort of work with one or two students, we'll do one question at a time. But we will begin. Charlie had a really good question in Spencerville. How can you tell if a piglet is healthy?
I can tell if a piglet is healthy, kind of just like we do with our children, Jennifer. If a pig feels good and they are healthy, they have bright eyes and they want to play in their pen, and their ears are up and they're alert and they're eating and drinking. So just kind of by watching how they act and what they do in their pen, I can tell whether a pig is healthy or might need some extra attention.
So they're very busy and active, just like all of your pigs are when they're healthy, aren't they?
That is right.
I had a little guy at home that was sick over the weekend, and he's usually just like those pigs, very busy. But when he was sick, he just laid on the couch all day.
That's exactly right. And we will find that with our pigs also. When they're not feeling very well, they want to go and to the back of the pen most of the time where they're away from everybody else, and they just want to lay down and get some rest, and they just don't feel good and their ears will kind of slump. And so it is very easy to notice when a pig doesn't feel very well.
All right, we'll do one more question from Spencerville. And Emma asked, why do pigs make grunting and squealing noises?
Why do they make, I am not exactly sure why they make the noises. I think it's kind of like the kids again, when they're excited. If we make sudden moves, they will react to that and make the squealing noises. Sometimes when they're running or playing, they will make excited booshing noises, or the oinking or the squealing. And when they're in distress, you hear the more high-pitched I'm not happy squeals.
All right, next we'll go to Ms. Hagg's class, and we want to give a shout out. The principal is right there with them, we believe, Mr. Hutchinson. So we're so grateful that you guys are all on, and you have a student with a question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Come on, Hernan. Can you give a question? What do you want to know about pigs? Look, stand still. What do you want to know about pigs, Hernan?
I don't know.
We've been talking about the pigs. We would like to know how many pigs are in the farm or at the farm at any one time. Because we read the 2 books that you sent us.
Great. That's a great question.
The number of pigs on our farms change on kind of on a monthly basis, but at our capacity here, we're at about 700, 750 pigs, and we can be as little as 20 until they're all gone from the farm. And on some of the larger farms, there can be 2,000 pigs with us on any given day.
Wow. That's neat though. The things you're talking about in the barn, you know, if you've already got water and feed and heat available, it's not that difficult to make the barn bigger, right? To hold pigs, and you can still, it's still your family that takes care of the animals, and then you have a team of people that you work with. But it's neat to see that it's still families all over Ohio and the United States that take care of animals.
That is very true. We have a lot of our family that will come in and help, and friends of the family that get involved with the animals. There's lots of parts that we all play. So my daughter is been raised in the barns with us since maybe day 10. And she has enjoyed growing up on the farms and has always played a little role in the farms, whether it be helping take care of the babies or feeding the pigs or whatnot. There's always something for someone, and we try to keep everyone involved in the family farms.
That's neat. All right, Ms. Scott, and you have your principal with you as well. So Mr. Suleiman, we are so grateful that you guys are all there, and you've got a question ready to go.
We do.
Is pigs tickly?
Are they tickly? You know, my daughter would say yes. She will find the littlest, ittiest, bittiest baby, and those are usually the ones that she wants to play with. And they are squirmy and they are tickly.
How about David Hill, CLC? You guys are up next, and then we'll go to Washington Elementary. Great question there.
How long do pigs live? Really loud. How long do pigs live?
Good one.
Our pigs stay with us for about 6 months in our barns, and then they will go on to be mothers in other barns, or they will go on to be market. So I believe that pigs, given the chance, I don't know exactly how long they would live. Do you know, Jennifer?
I don't know, but most pigs would be 6 months until their market weight, and then they would go on to be pork. Yeah. Is there another question there at David Hill, CLC? See, I know you guys have a couple classes together.
Go ahead, McKenna.
How many weeks can they live up to?
That's a good one. How many weeks? So how many weeks old is a pig at market weight, Rebecca?
They at market weight, the pigs are about 6 months old.
So 26 weeks?
That's about right.
All right. How about Washington Elementary, Mrs. Gannon's class? And if you have 2 questions also, it looks like you have a couple classes together. Oh, we have I'm sorry, I missed a couple questions in the chat.
I saw one come through about their ears. So if you can see, let's see if I can get one to look down here. They have tags in their ears. And those are for identification purposes. For the pigs that we are looking at are going to actually go back into a sow unit. They are all going to be mamas. Anybody that has the health status that can go on to be a mother, these will go back into the mother barns. So the tags in their ears are all for identification purposes. So we know who they are. It's like the kids having a name and your teacher having her name. The tags in their ears give the pigs a name.
Do you see the next, good job. Do you see the next question from Valley View that says, when the mother pig has piglets, how many piglets are typically in a litter?
I would say an average number of 15, 12 to 15.
It's a lot of pigs, isn't it? So they drink milk until, so their mom makes a lot of milk and they'll drink that until they're about 3 weeks old. And then they come to your barns and transition to eating solid food made of the corn and soybeans.
That
So
is correct.
when you drive around Ohio, sometimes you'll see fields, and there's two main plants that we grow in Ohio. And field corn, which goes to feed pigs and cows and turkeys and chickens, is usually up over my head. And then soybeans, the other big thing in pig food, is usually about my waist high. So that's how you know the difference in those two plants. All right.
I think I saw somebody ask about the pigs being different colors.
Yes.
And the pigs can be a different color. We have had red pigs come through the barns, and we have had black and white pigs come through the barns. And that makes our days, weeks, and months very interesting, because most of the time we do have all white pigs in our barns.
Great. All right, I think we have time to run back through the classes. So Spencerville, did you guys want to ask a question up to the camera, or do you want me to work on some of the other questions that you sent on the email ahead of time?
Yep. What do they use their hooves for?
Good one.
They use their hooves for walking and scratching. Sometimes you will see them bring their little legs up and scratch their bellies, or for a lot of climbing.
We have another good question from Spencerville, and that is, how many times does a pig eat each day?
Oh, the pigs eat all they want, all day long. I think it is a eat, sleep, drink, eat, sleep, drink, and play, and cause a little trouble, and then eat some more.
All right, let's go back to Ms. Hagg's class.
Hi, we just sent a question via Skyping. We wanted to know, how do the pigs get the water that they need?
Good question.
Definitely. So in the beginning, oh, I just scared them. I showed about the waterers. So each pen in the barn, in my barn here, has 2 waterers, and that is what the pigs there are doing. And there is a button that they just push with their noses, and it turns the water on and turns the water off when they move their nose away from it. So I'll show you here. So there's a water nipple, and they come up and they touch that, and the water comes out. And when they move their nose away, the water stops, but there's usually water in the water cup there. So if anybody wants to come up to drink, they can drink out of it or touch the little button there with their nose.
And you get the water from wells. So out in the country, we don't have pipes that just bring water to every building. So if we want to have a barn or a house, we drill a well really deep into the ground, And that's why it's really important that we protect the environment, because we get the water right next to our houses and our barns. So we're drinking the water right out of the ground around us.
Right. And we are also doing our laundry and drinking our water from the barn also. So that's another reason to help protect the environment in and around the barns and with all of the people near and close to us.
Let's go to Ms. Scott's class.
Hey. Wait, go ahead and ask. Say the room. What happens when pigs are themselves?
When a pig's by themselves?
Mm-hmm.
That's
what happens when a pig is by itself?
Yes.
Pigs are definitely herd animals, so they really don't typically care to be by themselves. They would much rather have a friend in the pens with them. But if for some reason they would be by themselves, they get along just fine. They just prefer to have other people or pigs, I guess, around them.
So when they're growing, they spend a lot of time in groups, but there is a time that they spend time individually, and that is when they're having babies. Then they want to be away from other people and have their own space when they're mamas. That's a good question. All right, we've got a couple questions in the chat from Washington Elementary. Why do pigs like to roll in the mud?
I would say when they were out in the mud, they rolled in the mud to stay cool. The pigs do not have sweat glands, and so they don't have a natural way of cooling themselves. Oh, and being inside the barns, we've taken, of course, the mud away from them, but we have given them sprinkler systems for the summertime and the cool water and the cool environment. So there's no need for them to roll in the mud here. But that I believe that's why they were doing it when they were raised outside, was to stay cool and to keep the bugs away from them.
All right, David Hill, CLC, will take a question. We've got one that just came in. Why are pigtails curly?
I think it's just because that's the way they were made. Our pigs don't have tails because a lot of times that's a distraction to the pigs and they will chew on them. So our pigs don't have tails. They are trimmed when they're babies.
Valley View asks, do you move the pigs when they get older before they go to market, or do they stay in the same pen?
That is a good question. It depends on the pigs. Most of the time they stay in the same pen. Sometimes we will move them if they need moved out of the pen to fit better with other pigs. But I would say for the majority of the time, they're going to stay with their pen mates and their friends in the same pen, because the pigs have their own pecking order. It's kind of a social system that if you move a pig into another pen with other pigs, they don't get along right from the start. They have to find out who's going to be the boss of the pen and then get the structure from there. So it's best if we're able to keep them all in the same pen at the same time together. That's what we try to do.
We have a couple questions from Washington Elementary on the chat. Do the pigs play with any toys?
If you call chains and each other toys, yes.
See the chain right there that the pig was chewing on?
It gives them a little something to do. I have seen barns that have bowling balls in them. I have seen barns that have a hard plastic, it looks like a tire, and that is just to give the pigs something to do, something to play with. So yes, the pigs do have toys.
That same group asked if pigs have hair.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get a close up. Let's see you. You can see it on his ear really well. Yeah, I think the ones that are raised outside might have a little bit more hair per se, because they are trying to guard themselves from the environment of being outside. Our guys, they do have hair. It's just very, very thin because it's not something that they have to have because we control their environment for them.
We had another question from David Hill, and it said, how long are the mama pigs pregnant? And that's 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days.
That's correct.
We've got a couple more questions from Spencerville, and we're going to wrap up with those two, and then we're going to say thank you. But Janessa would like to know, how do you get pigs to move or walk?
I like comparing everything to teenagers and children. It takes a little prodding sometimes, but some pats on their backs or on their behinds usually gets them moving. And we do have sort boards that we use to control, I guess, a little bit of their movement and where they can go.
Drew also had a good one. It says, where do you get pigs from to start your farm business?
So other people that have sow units that have had mothers, and the mothers have had babies, they come from those farms.
So you raise pigs that go on to either be mamas, so that other farms would buy your pigs to be mother pigs, or you sell them to be pork, right?
That is correct, yes.
All right. I know there's some more questions coming in, but we're right at the time to wrap up mark. So can everybody get your hands ready again? All the students, what should we do with them for our farmer? Does anybody have ideas? Oh, good job!
I just want to thank you guys also for taking time out of your busy schedules and visiting us here on the farm.
Thank you, Farmer Rebecca. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys all say thank you, real loud.
Good job. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.